am so happy that I waited for more and more details to come out before I started talking about this story. I know by now you have maybe heard about this, where last week there was a disgruntled McDonald's employee who left work after being let go for the day, being told she wasn't needed. I don't know, but she got let off early, then returned back and murdered her manager. My goodness, this story was just crazy to me. It's been crazy. And of course, condolences to that manager and her family. An overall sad situation. And just a disclaimer before I get into the rest of what I'm going to talk about today, there was no justifying this. Under no circumstances do I think this should have happened, especially when that woman's life, Afeni Muhammad, was not in imminent danger. She left the premises. She could have went did anything else. Apparently, she kept the knife in her car, and then she concealed herself, wore a mask to do this. But then there was a good Samaritan who held her at gunpoint until the police came. I want to look at this from a toxic workplace perspective, from a leadership perspective, and then I'll get into my final thoughts at the end. Let me look at this from an accountability perspective on all parts. There have been some comments that have said that the manager probably was bullying that girl or harassing her or talking to her crazy. My four eyes have not seen the proof of that yet. Not saying it doesn't exist, I just haven't seen it. But either way, if that is the case, it's wrong. I don't care what position you're in. You shouldn't be bullying or harassing anybody just because of your position or because of their age. Now, one thing Afeni said in one of her videos, she made some kind of comment about what the manager said about how she talked to her kids or something like that. Again, I do not condone this woman's actions by any means, but the manager was, I think, 39 and Afeni is 26. There's a 13-year age gap, and the manager has 6 kids. It's not out of the realm of possibility that she was talking to that girl like she was one of her kids, which, like I said, I don't condone. I don't think it's okay. In addition, that manager had been working at McDonald's for 15 years. And I know people who have worked somewhere for a really long time where you can't tell them anything, or they feel like they're the king of the castle. They can do and say whatever they want. There's a sense of ego that may come with it. So those things are possible. I haven't seen proof of it. Don't condone anything, but that is possible that could be happening. Here's my thought and warning to leadership. You need to respect everyone in your orbit. It doesn't matter if they manage you or you manage someone else. Everyone deserves respect. Doesn't matter what you know, doesn't matter who you know. Respect is not and should not be treated as a conditional thing, including the respect for your authority, your position, and your expertise. Also, we got to remember as leaders that we are responsible for that person's work and outcome. We don't own them. And we should be correcting people on the thing that we hired them for, not behaviors that we personally don't like or don't have anything to do with the job. And then following that up, let me give some encouragement to leadership. Respect and directness do coexist. You should absolutely be able to correct someone and be direct without fear of retaliation. Now let's deal with the employee. Let's say, for argument's sake, that she was being bullied. Well, she had choices and decisions that could have addressed that. If she wanted to keep her job, she recorded a lot. She could have recorded things that was happening at work. She could have reported those things. One thing in combing through all of her videos and responses that I did not hear is that she addressed the lady. That she said anything at all like, hey, I don't like the way that you're responding to me. I mean, how can we work together? There was no, it sounds like, mediation in the situation. So, as an employee, if someone is disrespecting you, yeah, you should be able to address that also respectfully. And I did not hear that, anything that Afeni said. In addition, some of the comments that I've seen is you can't mess with people's mental health. I think that's short sighted. Your mental health is your responsibility. Everyone is not equipped to support you in the way that you need to be supported. And it's also not their responsibility. you first. Is you are responsible for being okay, for being able to show up and get what you need so that you can live your best life. Now, I'm not knocking everybody. People are going through all kinds of things, especially in this day and age. But your support and your growth and your happiness and your healing and your peace, that onus is on you. So, no shame if you're struggling, but you can't drag everybody with you, and other people should not be punished if you are not at a place where you can regulate and deal with what's happening around you. Also, with that said, there was an extreme lack of emotional intelligence here. That's different from mental health. Part of emotional intelligence is your ability to regulate your emotions. We all have things that trigger us or things that people say that we don't like or that we don't care for. But the skill of emotional intelligence brings regulation into the equation, that before you snap or say something, when your amygdala is hijacked, you've given yourself to calm down to get to a place where you can speak on the facts and speak to logic and not just off of emotion. Obviously, Afeni here just snapped. People are saying she didn't have any capacity. Things were happening at home. That very well may be. But emotional intelligence says, okay, let me calm down. Let me go take a walk. Let me go hang out with some friends. Do whatever you need to do to bring yourself to clarity before you make any decisions. Understand? Baby girl snapped. But now look at how many people are paying for that. Then lastly, I just want to give my overall thoughts on the situation. Like I said before, I am so happy that I waited until more information came out, because a lot of people were commenting what I think was prematurely. Under any circumstances, Miss Afeni there, going to her Instagram page, there were a lot of disturbing things, from you carrying dead birds to even listening to a clip of her song. It was very much about, I want to be seen and like pay attention to me and listen to me and respect me. It sounds like she had an identity crisis, or she had lost her sense of self. All things which deserve support. I don't know what happened or where she was where she didn't get that. And I don't know where her support system is either. Then, of course, we go to the extreme ends of things, and there was the Chucky filter and her playing with knives and her screaming about her roommate Wayne, who is now missing, by the way. Wayne is missing. His family reported him missing. That's all I'm going to say. You take of that what you will. But the extremities of the case. In addition, it has also come out, people have come out. Well, actually, first, at her bond hearing, it was noted that she has been charged before with assault with a knife against another coworker. And that woman has since come out to detail her experience of being stabbed while working at the Taco Bell with the girl. So there were a couple of problematic responses I found to all of this, where people were saying, you shouldn't be bullying people. She FAFO. Okay, I guess, but doesn't that apply to her too? And if she felt like she was being bullied, she now put herself in a position to where she could be bullied every day. Go figure. Also, while I was listening to her videos, she seems to be a person that struggled with authority. In her car, she was doing some rant talking about a previous job, I guess, where she was a cleaning lady or a cleaning person, and she was complaining about having to do her job. She was complaining that the tenants or her clients thought that they were better than her. So there was this theme: people think they're better than me, people don't respect me, and it just, I don't understand. And maybe she doesn't have enough sense of self to know that correction isn't disrespect. So I always felt like she was in the wrong. Even if the manager was in the wrong, her wrong to me completely overshadowed all of that. There were a lot of disturbing things. I think she was crying out for help, didn't get help. But again, that's not everybody else's fault. People are now suffering. There are 6 kids without a mother for McDonald's money. I think it went too far, and I hope justice is served. Um, like I said, I think she deserved to get support and mental health, but now I think she deserves to do her time, and that the manager should get justice and her family should get justice, because somebody was unhinged. All right, this story is still going, it's still brewing. So I'd love to hear from you. Where do you stand on this issue? What do you think, manager, employee, other people, what they could have done? I've heard some comments that said, where were the other employees where the manager was getting stabbed? Lots and lots to talk about here. It could have been a toxic workplace, it could have been poor management, but that doesn't justify any of this. She could have left her job if she wanted to keep it. She had choices, many choices, and she had lots and lots of autonomy to be able to do that. But now she just put herself in a position where she won't have much autonomy at all. All right, thank y'all for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video.